Welcome back to the LEC here in Berlin, Germany. We just saw SK take down Astralis, and I'm joined by their mid laner, Sertuss. I must say, Sertuss, it was a classic. They got us in the first half.
Yeah, they got us in the early game, but then later on, just the shockwave form and shockwave at the game was kind of one.
Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about that one. But let's be fair, it's been a rough few weeks for SK coming into this game. You had a 5 losing streak. How has the preparation for this game being ramped up throughout the week?
I mean, obviously, things are not going great in the official games. Yes, we have a 5-game lose streak. And but I think the atmosphere in the team is still positive. Our scrim games look way better than our officials. So we knew we just need to get a win in official, and then we will be like even more confident for the upcoming games.
Yeah, because this situation was, it was very exciting, I would say, knowing that players are coming around. We're finishing off the first round robin. It's something we need to talk about already. How do you see your odds coming into playoffs?
I mean, I think we still have for sure chances to go to playoffs. I mean, there are like teams like BDS, Excel, which we can also for sure beat when we are like in perfect form. And yeah, we are still trying to reach it for sure.
Yeah, then let's start talking about that shockwave, because Sertuss, that was a nasty one.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great bait by Gilius. He was like baiting the Nautilus. So the whole team of them was focusing him. And then like, it's just my form and shockwave into Jinx ult. Jinx gets a reset, and we just ace them.
Yeah, that must feel good. And I think I can tell you something that you might feel coming up. I can announce that you are the Kia player of the game.
Oh, thank you very much, guys, for the people who voted for me.
Now, looking forward to your next game. That's going to be tomorrow. How are you going into that? And you took this important win.
I mean, yeah, tomorrow is still an important day for us. Like, if we win tomorrow, we are like 3-6. Of course, everyone expected something else, but then like the chances for playoffs are still there. Yeah.
Sertuss, I'd like to thank you for your insights and good luck tomorrow. And we are going to head over onto the analyst desk to get ourselves ready for an undefeated Rogue versus XL.
Thank you very much, Sertuss and Koolein. Exciting times for SK, able to make that one work. Hey, scaling, coming out on top. Of course, time to see what Rogue are going to be able to do, what Rogue can bring together, if they can extend their win streak to 8 wins in a row by taking down XL today. But before we can talk about the matchup, I think we just have to talk about Rogue. This team is on fire right now. And again, I'm going to repeat it one more time, Betty. You're giving me the look. Best team in the league when they got rid of 2 of the best players in the league. It's an impressive feat.
Is this like, Rogue is the best team in the league, 15 marks discussed? Do we need to start working on this one? Because it definitely feels like
they beat the best team. That's how, right now. I'm not saying over by the end of the split or in best of 5. I'm saying right now.
And it does look like they are the best in the league right now because they're so in sync. Their sense of timing, as we mentioned before, is impeccable. If they need to be somewhere at the right point, they've ended up being there, and they've shown that they can do that against the toughest opposition in the standings right now. So yeah, they've actually proved that on the highest stage they have done so far.
I think that, we talked about it at the beginning of the day, Daniel Drakos, but it's this idea that European junglers really smart. Malrang comes here, instantly super smart jungler, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The fact that he spent a year or 2 working with Canyon, I think that's less to do with it.
Yeah. He's on EU West now.
Exactly. Now that he's on EU West, he knows what a
He's
real
one of the villains in this server.
Exactly. But really, so much credit needs to be given to him because yes, we do say it a lot. The expectations surrounding this player were very low, but he has been nothing but incredible. And like that really is the best way to describe him. The fact that he is just so aware of where he needs to be. Like you summarized it perfectly in Ready Check where you talked about like wherever, like, timing was perfect for this jungler, and he is just extremely impressive in pretty much every facet of his play.
It just feels like, you know, like if there is a lane in danger or Trymbi wants to go somewhere else, they just put them in Malrang daycare and he just turns up, he recalls there and just makes sure they're fine. And yeah, this guy is just, even though we saw that aggressive play against Fnatic, for instance, when they won that, actually the thing which has impressed me the most is how he's been there to make sure his lanes are stable, make sure that they are safe in whatever they're aiming to do as well.
And I think you can see so much in terms of his play style. You see on this clip exclusively ganks. Yeah, well, one, we wouldn't put farming in there anyway, but also he doesn't do much of it. He's actually hilariously far behind on average. If you look at his week 3 stats, he was massively behind, but you also see highest K plus A at 15 in the league, about 4.5 on average for that. Most that's the Viego game, but even that Volibear game, he was making his presence known, he was making the impact, and when we get a chance to look at kind of the heat map or the kill map of all of the action that we've seen from him, he's just a player who has an impact that you can't deny. Yes, there's farming, CS leads, there's selfish junglers, but when a man is just going to gank all the time, his impact is completely undeniable.
He's the guy I want in solo queue. Just goes in my lane. Hell yeah.
And so what you're looking at right now is the kill map. So his kills for Sertuss at 15s across the map, and where he's often getting those kills on blue side. 14 rather, sorry, on both blue side and red side. And you can see that while he does actually gank a lot, as we've kind of seen, he doesn't invest a huge amount of his time around the mid. He's actually spending a lot of time around the bot side of the map, really trying to enable comp as he scales throughout the game and making sure that they get through that laning phase. But then that also opens up Trymbi to then start roaming with him elsewhere on the map. And when that duo comes together, it's not necessarily always about getting those kills, but about getting control and enabling those solo laners to do what they do best, which is often control and dominate the lane.
Absolutely the case. But as successful as Rogue have been, it has not been smooth sailing through their opposition in terms of Excel. Now, Malrang might be a midseason MVP candidate. Excel midseason are still trying to find their roster, make their roster work. The Excel jungle support duo feeling a little bit weaker, I would say. Advi and Markoon versus Mikyx Markoon. Natural when you bring a new player onto the team, but this is something that we have to keep our eye on. It's only been a week. What's the evaluation of Mikyx right now on this Excel lineup?
So I think Mikyx obviously came in with a lot of fanfare, a lot of talk around him, and he's still warming up. Let's be honest, he's still not quite in the driver's seat just yet. And what that's meant is actually Mikyx has not really been out on the map in the same way that Advian was. You can see his stats before like the mid-game really starts to go into fruition. Advian was ahead of this new support slotted into their lineup at that mark.
And I think that, like, yeah, that graphic, I think, obviously doesn't put a great light on Mickey,
Sure.
but I also think that from Mickey's perspective, his goal wasn't to come in and suddenly revolutionize and change the team. I think from his perspective, especially after hearing from Euphoria, he knows that like this is a process and this is something that needs to take time to change. And when you take out an established duo in Markoon and Advien, two that have been playing together for so long and already had that built-up synergy, for Mickey to suddenly have that, I think those expectations are unrealistic. But the reality is that XL did still go 1-1 last week. There were positive takeaways that we can see from last week. The question is, can they now implement them moving into this week, which is really important for them, especially when we look at moving to that mid-season point.
And naturally, can they secure a Baron without needing to 50-50 it? Is the other big question on our mind.
Do we need to bring the burger back?
Yeah, we can bring the burger back. It was a difficult week, but I think it's important to highlight Mickey had not played competitive in a long time, and while has not maybe hit the same highs as Advian, he is coming back into it. A lot of people expected him to be big leader, big voice of confidence, but we heard on Euphoria, if you've missed the episode,
Go watch the
What, did you just self-plug yourself?
I did self-plug myself. I do it all the time. It's the power of the host, Nymaera. Get used to it. Anyway, he's talking
Really
about
look into that.
Yeah, he's talking about adjusting to the team. He's not going to be a big leader, but he will be a voice when it comes to reflection, looking back how they can make better plays, stronger plays as a team, and that's what we have to look at.
And ultimately, I think that whenever we look at a matchup like this, we are drawn to that jungle matchup and that support matchup, right? When we think about the fact that Markoon has been hyper-aggressive in the early game, he's going to be going up against Malrang, who's a player we've only showered with praise, and then you have Trymbi versus Mickey, the established young rookie from last year who people didn't have high expectations of, versus the veteran. You know that that duo in particular is going to be a good one to watch.
Look, I'm excited. I just want to see what happens. Can XL take down the unstoppable Rogue and get an upset win? That is the question on our minds. Let's toss it over to the casters to get us into picks and bans.
Thank you so much, Drakos, Vedius, and Nymaera. We're obviously coming into a new game, new setup, I don't know, we're not new casters. No. I don't know, I suppose. We can get real existential with that a bit later. But coming into this game, of course, how long have we casted together?
Yeah, I'm still not used to it, to be honest.
Takes a little while to get used to it. But coming into this one, of course, the Unstoppable Rogue coming in against the relatively new lineup of XL. What are we expecting coming into this one? Because again, I think a lot of people think heavy favorites Rogue.
Yeah, and I gotta agree, right? Like, I think we've seen a huge amount of flexibility that surprised me coming out of Rogue, right? Because we saw them in the first 2 weeks, it was very much all about these team fighting compositions and playing through comp, getting them on the Jinx. We're going to just look for team fights. And I was like, okay, cool, Rogue, you look really good in this style, but it's a bit one-dimensional. Then we start to see them mix it up a little bit, right? We got Trymbi, who was roaming around. We got the Blitzcrank. We got the Jannas. We got Malrang, who was playing all over the map. We got to see split push. It feels like Rogue have got so many different styles locked and loaded in their back pockets.
They've got them all. They do it all. But can they do it today? That is the question. XL going to be looking to do what has so far been the impossible. Can you take down Rogue? That is the only question you need to answer. It's a 100% pass rate if you can do it. And now, as we jump into picks and bans, we got Rogue on the blue, XL on the red. So XL will potentially have a counter pick.
We'll have to see if it's going to make that big difference in the long run. Already we see the Jace ban away. Finn has kind of been going towards this as his regular carry top lane, and especially when XL like to give him a lot of resources, I think that banning away some of these carry tops for Finn is going to be your best bet.
Well, already we see the one banned away. XL taking their time now with this last one as they're waiting to see where they want to go with it. It's going to be the Twisted Fate. 100% presence in the LEC. It's been picked 5 times. This will be the 32nd time it's been banned. So it is just something that just opens up the maps so well.
Also, I expect to be a regular ban against Rogue after they just dismantled Fnatic with it. It looked absolutely incredible. Lulu being banned away from Mikyx as well. He managed to pick himself up a nice little MVP on that pick in the last time they faced off. So I really want to look at what the game plan is here for XL, right? Because we got Mikyx coming in. Mikyx was supposed to be roaming. Mikyx was supposed to solve all the issues. We heard the guys talk about it on the desk. Also, do watch Euphoria. Drakos, I agree. Phenomenal episode. But what we got to do is say, hey, look, Mikyx, you said that you didn't want to be the shot caller. You said that you didn't really want to come in and kind of take over in the role in the same way that we expected. You wanted to refine what XL was doing. Well, we don't have that same XL. We don't get the roams on the map. Mikyx's playing more towards that bot lane. And personally, if you're going to go with this style, I feel like XL playing towards that bot lane will be the best port of call. Zeri banned away alongside the Caitlyn though, coming through from XL means they're focusing on that bot lane, which leaves Corki up and available.
Corki up and available, picked as quick as you like. And yeah, lot to be to look at now from the side of XL. How do you respond? Because Corki is just one of those really oppressive mid lane picks.
Yeah, it feels like jungle and AD carry, right, would be the best one, right? You got the Jinx here that you could potentially give to Patrik. Patrik has been phenomenal for XL, nearly 30% of the team's damage. This has been a big, reliable carry for them, and I feel like a Jinx fits in well if we're going to see Patrik and Mikyx prioritize the 2v2 more so than jungle support synergy. The Lee Sin, though, will give Markoon a nice advantage, but we've seen that Malrang can kind of play anything at this stage. He's totally fine leaving like his jungle pick until 4 or 5, allowing the rest of his team to solidify what their picks are strongest for, and there's that Jinx that we were talking about.
Yeah, big, massive hyper carry has just been so just so strong. It's with the objective bounties that you can't, even if you do fall behind, you can do a lot. But the Lucian there means we could see a Lucian Nami to get that presence in the bot side to really push it back.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we've seen thus far, right? Is that this Lucian has been absolutely unstoppable alongside the Nami. Especially when you're looking at the Jinx, right? You now kind of need to focus for Mikyx. Like, can we have something that can keep this Jinx safe? Thresh, obviously the best option there, as we're going to see the Nami locked in. I think that can do reasonably well. And also sets up, if you want to look towards Markoon playing down towards the spot side, you've got good safety in the Lantern, but you've got great engage with the hook as well against some of these very squishy short-range champions that you can play around.
See what they want to go for. Gwen, of course, still left open and can be picked here. You can ban away a lot of those matchups and try put something into Finn. We talked about how he is the carry, or rather a carry-esque for his team, and it looks like XL are happy to try and give him some more resources.
I like this call from XL though, because when you look at the draft from Rogue, right, it's like, look, realistically, Odo, you're going to be on an engage tool, right? Nami can kind of fill up, but not really. So when you're looking at a Lucian Nami, you want to play around the bot side, which means the weak side king is back in Odo in that top side. So take the Gwen, know you'll have the good matchup, and now you can get rid of some of these team fight orientated carries in the top lane like the Kennen, and make sure you've got that strong side for Finn to play around, which is the way XL have been playing thus far.
Have been playing it. We are going to see the Kennen back to banned away as we now see where they want to put it. Honestly, you could just put mid lane bans in here or even support, like you mentioned, just to make sure that you are able to get that strong side. And Corki is so great when you have got a pushing, winning lane like a Lucian Nami, because with that package, it just becomes so difficult to even just contest around anything, even if it's just a scuttlebug, because you cannot risk just getting piled on by all these champs.
Yeah, and especially when you get towards team fights, right? You can have him come in for flanks. You've got the package to contend with. You've got Lucian who can throw out the Koolein, you've got a lot of upfront damage that can come through very, very quickly, and the double kind of AD carry, I'll say in quotation marks, for your team fights is just phenomenal, right? Yeah, and you've got Nami who can enable both. So looking across here at the final bans coming through from Rogue, Nala's taken off the board. They don't want something that can allow this Jinx to engage, as we kind of said, giving Markoon the opportunity to play around. Also, the Victor banned away in that mid lane for Nukeduck. We'll have to see what Excel decide to go with here. It feels like going towards your support is your best option here, just because you know the Nami's there. If you want to go towards engage, Leona. If you want to play a little bit safer, I think the Thresh does a great job, but it's neither. Okay.
It's Seraphine Beta. It's the Seraphine Beta champion, that one that exists.
Yeah, I mean, she's seen a little bit of play thus far, kind of both in the LEC and globally. She has a ton of heals, and movement speed can work out. You can get some good stuff. I know it was Targamas and FLICKR who kind of brought this out with the Pyke, I believe, last time. But oh no, actually that was the Seraphine. That was the alpha.
That was the alpha.
Yeah, we'll have to see exactly how this is going to work out. Honestly, I feel like you're kind of opening yourself up to having a lot of pressure down on the bot side, especially with Malrang going back towards this Volibear. He can go down towards this bot lane so often and set up Comp and Trymbi so damn well.
And this is something that we've seen from many analysts around the world, the Volibear just creeping into the meta, becoming that very, very powerful jungler that you just cannot skirmish against. Has great CC, has great survivability, and honestly, like, it's not the best of engages. You're just kind of jumping on them like a big old bear, but that's what big old bears do.
Yeah, I mean, and there's the round out, right? We said we wanted engage coming through from Odo. Ornn fits perfectly. It means that he can do reasonably well on the top side. I mean, Finn's going to have a field day, but you're not looking to play for lane. You're looking at the team fights here for Rogue. And when you look across over at Excel, looks like you're going to be going towards kind of more of the split push orientated. We'll have to see what Nukeduck decides to go with here. Okay.
This is top. Sona top. This is Smite Sona top. They're going for the roam Sona, so this is going to be...
Is it?
I think so. Like, I don't know. Maybe put the Gwen
you've
mid.
got the Gwen and the Lee Sin, right? So that's
the
where
Gwen
kind of
mid.
like... I feel like it's probably just Sona mid. It could be like instead of your Janny or Sona, but we'll have to wait and see exactly how this turns out. I feel like though this is probably going to be the Sona in the mid lane, get some decent push, and it means you can heal up. And if you can look for those quick roams, it can work out. And well, it looks like that's what we're going to be getting.
Damn. I was excited.
You were very excited.
I was very excited. I did a lot of
homework. This is why
homework.
I'm the color caster.
Yes, this is...
All right?
You know what?
Stay in your corner. All right? Stay over there. You're lucky this glass is here. I swear to God.
So I'm lucky. God damn it. Like, coming into this. But Sona mid is going to have a lot of sustain, is going to be very, very annoying. And in just a very short lane like that can do. I'll be totally honest with you. I am not sure of the exact AP scalings of them, so I'm not even sure if she's going to do that much damage, but she's going to be annoying as hell.
No, she's got a ton of push that can come through. She can poke reasonably well. The healing and the sustain is a bit annoying, especially for Corki, who can be relatively weak, kind of pre-6, right, before you have access to the package and the rockets that can kind of poke you down. So Nukeduck coming out with a different answer, but it definitely feels like a Nukeduck special, right? More of that kind of utility style and something that can offer a lot of crowd control rather than going for the upfront carry himself.
Yeah, and for Nukeduck as well, we've seen him already try this out so far in the LEC this split. He picked out the Veigar last week. It was mixed success. I think he did very well individually, but he wasn't the problem when it came down to that game. So for him, this is going to be about, you know, the Nukeduck Ocean. When they talked about the Year of the Duck for so many years on LEC, it was about how he has just got so many options, so many tools available to him that you can never really count him out.
And he's been great coming through for Excel. We're going to have to see if they can continue this. It does still feel like a composition that's set up to see Patrik succeed. Maybe Finn can do some work on the side lane and find those nice flanks that he usually does. But that's the big question, if they can find that.
We jump in and we get to see how it all unfolds. Actually a heal Sona mid. So we're going to see heal, even though she has a heal.
30 seconds until
How many more heals does she need?
All of them, everyone. But
I wonder who's the
Excel.
most healy champion in the game. Not Heelys as in like the cool shoes.
I mean, that's Zeri, right?
Oh,
Now that
oh
she's
my
out to
God,
spin
you're
around.
right, yeah.
But I mean, Gwen kind of, at least from my experience, heals more than she should. And I'm not salty in the slightest. I will say though, look, coming back into this, Excel, I not often like being bamboozled. I love that I've been bamboozled in this draft. Because the fact that this Leona has come in, I was like, look, You can either fight fire and fire in this bot lane, or you play a little bit more defensive and you're like, hey, look, you're going to burn bright, you're going to burn fast, and you're going to drop off. That's not what Excel have done here. Excel have actually gone, right, we want to fight. We want Markoon to play on this bot side. And it's been something I'm waiting a little while for Patrik, for him to get his moment to shine, because this guy has been so good, one of the top 5 AD carries, honestly, in the LEC, coming in with Mikyx, who's been an absolute pleasure to watch in the past. We'll have to see if he's able to be a pleasure to watch in this game as well, because they're going to get the resources to try and take over this bot lane.
And I like what Rogue did there. They put one ward into the middle brush and said, right, if we get engaged upon, we know you're not there, but if you're not there, you got to be over here. So they basically covered both lanes without having to invest both vision wards down. And yeah, we'll have to keep a keen eye on this Nukeduck. Of course, we're going to talk about it later. It's going to basically play out like a Victor Corki. It's just going to be farming. No one's really going to do anything. And it's the team fights that we're really going to have to try and find out how much is this pick worth and how big is it going to be for this team?
I don't know. Personally, I think Cole is a great fighting option for the lane, you know? As you can see, Larssen's gone towards that. And the first strike, I mean, this is going to be a lot of gold going into this Corki. Exactly. He's going to be looking to spend that nicely and get himself into a nice spot coming in towards those later team fights. The big question, though, for Rogue is, right, every single time, what is Malrang going to do? Because this guy has been everywhere for this team, and I want to try and track him on his path in here. Has gone from top into that bot side. We talked about both junglers want to play around this bot end of the map. Well, we're going to see them clash over what could be that first scuttle, but it's Comp and Trymbi who have the push in the bot lane to try and help out Malrang in these early stages.
And that's why you picked this pushing bot side. You mentioned it. You have the push, you have the priority, and then you utilize that throughout the map.
And one of the big things for both the Lucian and the Nami is you're playing for plates, right? Be a lane bully, push up, go aggressive against Patrik every time he steps up. Use the fact you've got the electrocute as well to make sure you're really being a big bully in this lane and get all that extra gold so you hit the mid game in your stride. The problem is, though, if you end up in a position where you go even on this bot side, Patrik just scales better, right? This Jinx, we talk about it's a kingdom come, about how good it can be in the late game. And you've got the Sona to prop it up. You got a Gwen for late game as well. XL know that if they can play this slow, they'll just scale better.
That's the theory. But we'll wait to see how it all pans out. Both the top lane and the bot lane scuttle are going to be taken at the same time. XL taking the top, and of course, Rogue taking the bottom lane. And let's talk a little bit, obviously, the massive amount of focus has been on Malrang and how he's been able to fit in with the team. Like Drakos said on the Analyst test, this is a team that lost arguably their 2 best players and are now 7-0, looking to try and go 9-0 for the start of the split. This is a massive, massive change of tone of what everyone thought this team was going to be. And now I want to see what they can do and why has it just worked so much for them.
Yeah, especially like, right, Inspired and Handsome are gone. You look for it. I was going to hold my point there, but Inspired, who was such a key component of this, Malrang comes in, this very unique jungle style that we haven't really seen before from a lot of people, and honestly, not a lot of people could pull it off. I think it speaks volumes to Malrang, how well he's integrated in towards Rogue. Comp as well, who comes in and he's like, you know, we did reasonably okay, but nothing really to be a big focal point for the team. But these first 2 weeks where we saw Rogue playing towards him, setting him up, he showed how good he can be when having a team that can set him up.
And on the other side of that, you've got XL bringing in probably the most veteran, most storied support in LEC history. Mikyx, this guy has been around on probably the best, you know, European lineups that have ever existed. 2019 G2. I don't think that's an egregious thing to say either. So this style, and again, if you've watched,
the problem you said was that you didn't use the actual term, which is the winningness. You know,
the
that's
winningness.
We gotta use some of the weird ones.
How that sounds. I don't know why. It's just one of those words. But you know, if you do watch, you know, Euphoria, really do recommend you check it out. Mikyx brings in a lot of, you know, insight. Like you mentioned, he's not really the shot caller for G2. He never really was. He's just more to try and guide this team in. And we're going to see now after 2 weeks of scrims, or maybe a week and a half, depending on when he came in before week 3, how much of a difference has his presence made to this team?
Malrang is making his way down towards the bot side here. There is a ward for XL to spot him out. We'll have to see if Mikyx goes for something. Compass looks like he's trying to bait him.
You have to feel like something might be up. This lane shouldn't be able to get such an advantage here should the Nami and Lucian decide they want to go for it, but wait to see what they do.
Look at mid lane though. Nukeduck just hit that level 6. You're trying to see if Markoon can answer, but not able to. Malrang happy to sit here.
Ooh, they're tempted. They're thinking about it. Oh, here we go. We are going to see Mikyx now drop the exhaust down. And it's going to be a summoner for nothing else. We are going to wait back and out. But a lot of time there for Malrang just to wait in the bot side, see if an opportunity presented itself.
Yeah, it should give control to Rogue though, right? And getting an exhaust out before something like a Rift Herald fight is actually pretty good. Malrang will spot the ward here, but again, Mickey and Patrik have to play it safe, so you're getting this slow push in the bot lane that will allow Rogue to reset first and look for plays elsewhere in the map. Malrang also here just in case the Scuttle Crab becomes contested.
Yeah, I was curious there to see if either of the junglers were very close to level 6, wondering if the Scuttle could have been the setup for them. We are going to see Markoon just walk away, pick up his wolves. He's got camps to take. He's got things to do. He's a busy man. He can't be dealing with these arguments with bears.
I feel like arguing a bear is never a good idea. But now, right, this is what we're talking about. Slow push coming in for comp. Look at the wave, right? You have to stay here now as Patrik, whereas you get this good reset coming out from comp. He's going to reset first, can hit the bot wave, he can push it in. And look at Trymbi. He's not going to go back towards the bot lane here. He's going to link up with Malrang. Now you've got the opportunity to try and make a play potentially in mid. Maybe look to punish Finn, who's been pushing very aggressively in this top side as well.
And also looking at it as well, looking at XL's summoner spells, they have one teleport. That's it. They have Finn. So you're already seeing Larssen, you know, going back, getting a tier, going back into lane, recognizing he can get those nice little recalls out to just keep this Nukeduck Sona underneath the tower. There's nothing really else the Sona can do. Now, I will say that CS lead in mid lane is going to be a little bit exaggerated. Sona, one, not great at CSing, and two, doesn't actually need a lot of resources to be a support Leona with the Vandal glass as well, as you see the gold coming up here. He doesn't really need that much.
I mean, look, it is going to be a very supportive style here for Nukeduck, and the whole idea, as we said, enabling Patrik. You get your engaged support and Mikyx, but you also get that enchanter support to enable you throughout this game as well, as Mickey takes a bubble to the face. But I honestly thought we'd get to see a little bit more coming through from Rogue. It's been a very slow game, so slow in fact that Malrang is even in CS, and if that doesn't tell you about this game, I don't know what else will.
This man, who has just been trying his damnedest to not get on CS levels, we can see it engage in the bot side. Oh, nicely done. Comp's going to have to use his cleanse. Good engage here on the bot side. You have the level 6 here for Patrik. He knows that if someone gets even a little bit lower, he could execute.
I mean, this is really good for XL, right? Again, big wave pushed in. They can now look to make a play under the tower. You can see Markoon is trying to wrap his way back down here, but the wave should be gone by the time he gets down here, but still can support Patrik in getting a nice little bit of an advantage for himself, although sitting about 10 CS behind at the moment.
And this is the thing. We talk about how Malrang has been so selfless, so willing to throw away his camps. But when you can't get anything and you're just farming up, you are just like every other jungler in this situation. You're not getting those high-tempo, massive plays that we expect them to go for. They're just trading other sides of the map. You're not going for that high-risk, high-reward. It's just trading.
The big thing here, though, for Rogue, right? We're talking about them wanting to kind of play towards team fights, right? Personally, one of the best ways I see in the current meta, and I think a lot of people agree, to find these fights is dragons. That's why we're starting to see some of these hyper carries come in. As Malrang going to pop this down in the mid lane with the Rift Herald. I mean, this is actually potentially going to get this for Larssen.
Yeah, and well, of course, you are seeing these summoners disconnect. Do not fear, fair viewers. At 9 minutes, you will see all the players disconnect due to a pause that was resolved. So nothing to be scared about. Don't panic, Dagda. You're fine. The game is still happening.
Thank God, because I was sweating buckets over here. But XL looking for the play in the bot side.
They're going to go for it. They do not have a cleanse. They will get a flash out of Karzi, and he's going to be a little bit caught. Sorry, not Karzi, Comp, I should say, but they land the Q and the kickback. Trymbi now has to walk himself away. Does have flash. Do they have enough damage to get him? They will not. It's a trade of 1-for-1, a little bit of explosive action here, but it's Markoon making the first play.
I mean, yeah, now Malrang will still be able to pick up this wave, so it does suck for Comp that he ended up going down before he could pick up this wave, but the fact he got the kill makes that pretty even, and Rogue, they're answering with this mid lane turret, so all in all, big win for Rogue, both in being able to turn around the bot lane play. Shout out to Larssen, you're a good
pro.
lad.
You're a
good
pro.
lad.
LPL top esports, let's go. I have no idea if that was intentional, but that was awesome.
Yeah. I will say that, right? So, mid-tower goes down, and the thing I wanted to point out was that Rogue like these team fights, and they're going to be playing around Comp quite a bit, so I can see why XL are trying to shut down Comp, right? See if they can get the play going, but Mickey ends up tanking down the tower, so he ends up going down. They don't get Trymbi in the long run as well, and they can't dive from him because you can see Malrang off on the top side here. He's been spotted on a ward, but it means that it gives the room for Rogue to push in that mid lane turret. Again, Cole completed for Corki. First strike here for Corki, and he got all the turret plates there in the mid. This is going to be a big one.
Patrik, he's going to have the culling, but a good Little flame chompers there. And you mentioned the gold. I'm actually going to ask the observers, because I never get to do this in LPL. Can we see the gold if we have a second? Oh my god. Wow, he is 2,300 gold ahead of his counterpart. And again, that's not a big deal until you recognize it's a Corki who's just going to scale into oblivion.
Well, let's look at everyone else on the opposite side, right? Like, everyone is sitting in the 3 to 4K mark coming through on XL. Nearly 6K for the Corki. That is slightly absurd. So certainly Larssen has been set up to succeed, and the best way to try and do it, right, is looking at these objective fights. Now, XL have got Dragon #1. I want to see Rogue just continue to put pressure for Dragon after Dragon from now on as Trymbi. Woohoo.
Mikyx goes over with the Hex Flash, but now he has nowhere to be, and he's going to get caught up by the Tidal Wave. They're going to try and burst him down. They haven't got the carries just yet. Never mind. Peekaboo, we see you. And then Comp picks himself up another kill. That felt very odd there from Mikyx. That didn't feel like that was what he wanted to do.
Forced is the word that I'll use. They're trying very hard to shut this down, as here we go.
Yeah, Markoon going to be caught up as well. And this is the power you have with the Volibear. He can go forward, take up all this damage, and know that he's going to be totally fine because he has his ult.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so difficult for XL here. Losing out on their support means that Rogue gets to push in. That's a turret plate going towards Comp. He's got 2 kills. Rogue are playing this early game very well, and even though it hasn't been so much of, oh, what we expect from Malrang, right? Get into lane, get those kills, like fall behind in CS for the good of the team, sacrifice himself. Malrang instead has been keeping up in farm, using the advantages he has to get into lanes at the right time, and with Larssen having full control over this mid lane, now it becomes so much easier for this Corki to start roaming down towards the bot side, look to take that tower, look for this dragon, which is in a minute and a half, and you'll have so many completed items across the board here. I'm actually kind of scared for how big Larssen's going to be at this next fight.
I mean, we'll wait to see what is finished up when he's able to finish up his item, but right now it is just Rogue suffocating like only 2-1 in kills, but it's a 4,000 gold lead.
And I also like the adaptation from Larssen, because one of the things that we saw a lot from Corki was that poke build. That's not what we're seeing from Larssen. We see Nukeduck is going to be having these heals, he's going to be keeping people knocked up, so instead he's going for that late game scaling crit build, but Odo is about to get hurt.
Here we go, Ghost use, as has the needlework. They're going to try and get his flash out of him. They'll get it, they're going to commit to it fully as they try and take him down. Nicely done. And we mentioned this at the start, we're going to stop myself there as Mikyx does find himself. Nice move though! Crescendo was just frame perfect cleanse, and Rogue will get away with a good response though from XL. They were ready for the bot lane dive.
And now they've gotten a ton out of Rogue. Rogue were trying to make that pick happen just before the Dragon, and XL were like, right, let's try and cross-map this. Let's get some pressure for Finn. And now Rogue are thwarted on the bottom side. Finn is getting a ton of pressure on the top lane, and we still can't go for Dragon for Rogue because of the low health bars.
XL do have a couple of answers here. They are coming up a little bit on top, but Larssen has, I will say Ox will be a very happy man. He's timed up his package with the Dragon, so they will have that massive teamfight ultimate. And speaking of teamfight ultimates, Ornn package, you've got the Volibear jumping in on top as well, the Tidal Wave. There's just so much AoE just running at you. It's almost like Avatar: The Last Airbender coming at you.
And we just crested the 14-minute mark, right? So you could have Odo move his way down here with the teleport. He has been unleashed, which makes you feel powerful inside. But they aren't as powerful as they actually were because you got comp resetting, but it doesn't matter because XL had backed away. They're not in a position. They really don't want to fight this Corki right now. He is so big, especially with that package in tow.
I mean, yes, with the package in tow, he's very big. When do you want to fight the Corki? It's like we don't want to fight him now. In 10 minutes? No. Okay. When?
About 10 minutes before this point in time, to be honest. Like, maybe try and shut him down before this, because at this stage...
That's 4 levels. He'll 100%, he'll just kill Mikyx. Yes, Rogue have got the rest of his team here, but Markoon is around. If they can catch Larssen, this could be big. They're going to go for it. He does get the kick, though, into the crescendo. Big shutdown there for the side of XL, but what can you take from it? Yes, you got the jungler, but the Dragon's dead.
Rift Herald's up, though. They can start to move up towards this top side. Jungler now unavailable. It feels like XL can move across. Finn getting this set up, but again, question marks if they want to contest.
He's caught. He's got a scissors, but he's being pinched right now. They're going to use the Ornn to come in to get the Tidal Wave in. Nice move there by Trymbi to get himself inside the shroud, so there was guaranteed a knock-up. You did get a move, but now they can TP Ornn into the bot side, keep themselves pressuring around that bot lane, and it's all going up pretty much in flames for XL.
It's just indecisiveness. XL had the point where they could move to top side, but they decide not to. They're like, hey, well, let's move back down to the bot side. Some people go for the Rift Herald, and Rogue realized correctly that if you're going to make a split call, XL, We can split you in half at the Rift Herald, and now you've got another kill going across, the Rift Herald going across. Patrik will answer with the bot lane turret, which is phenomenal for the main carry of XL, but just make one call rather than several.
Just make one call. It's not hard. Just ring your dentist. Make an appointment. It's not a
Call
difficult
your
thing
mom.
to do. You
Tell
call
her you
your
love
mom.
her.
Tell your lover, you know? Why are we doing this?
I don't know.
I don't know. Why do we always go into this weird, like, wholesome mode when we come into cast? But yeah, like
We're
I said,
horrible off camera.
yeah, I mean, yeah, honestly. I don't know about you, I'm horrific. But anyway, coming back into this one here, of course, XL, they're equal on kills, but look, it's still 3,500 gold lead. It is still a lot for you to deal with. And this Corki is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And yes, it's great. You have got yourself an item onto the Sona. I just don't know if there's going to be enough healy-wheelies on the Sona to make it worth.
The good news, at least for XL, right, is that Patrik is doing relatively okay. In the grand scheme of things, when you want Patrik to be your big damage dealer, the Gale Force is completed, but it is going to be 2 to 3 items before he's online. Larssen, as you can see, is currently up and available. The 2 items that are already completed in the Immortal Shield Bow, the Muramana is going to be coming through very, very quickly as well. Larssen is going to be a monster in these fights, and you can very quickly pick up items that are defensive to keep him alive.
Oh, they waited. It was all a bait. Lovely bubble over the side, but was it? Don't call an ambulance for me. Call it for you. They're going to jump straight back in on top of Malrang, who uses his stopwatch and then almost immediately dies. Rift Tail gets dropped at bot side because you can see there Rogue trying to answer with a crossplay.
Nice job from XL, right? They managed to, again, look for cross maps, and this is something that has been missing quite substantially from XL's gameplay, so I like that we're seeing growth from XL. It's unfortunate that Comp will still get this bot line turret with that Rift Herald, open up the map more, get more gold in his favor, and complete that Essence Reaver for himself.
And I mean, this is still positive from XL. They're still being able to pick apart, and this is probably not as dominant as people were expecting. Rogue, again, 7-0, looking unfathomable. They just look so damn good. XL holding their own, and all comes from this. This is actually a bait from Rogue, so Rogue knew this was going to happen. They just weren't prepared to try and burst out the Lee Sin.
Yeah, and this is actually something that I think Rogue have been really, really cool at doing, that they tried to lull you into this false sense of security to be like, hey, look, come on in, this is going to be totally fine. We see it here, right, where Trymbi tries to bait. It ends up not working out for them. I think XL could definitely got the one-up on Rogue, where they didn't realize how many XL members were in that area. But we saw it the last time as well, in their last game as well, where Larssen roamed top, but as the TF, knew he was walking over a bunch of wards, and he didn't even care. He was just like, cool, what I'm actually going to do is, instead of destinying up to the top side, I'm destinying back to the mid lane, because Trymbi had snuck his way into mid lane to make a pick. Like, this is something that I think we're going to have to keep an eye on for Rogue, because they love catching teams unaware. I think it's such a cool thing that this team does.
Yeah, big time. I will say, though, it was a bait that they were trying to catch them unaware, and then they were caught unaware. There's several layers of unaware that they had to deal with there, and now 20 seconds till Dragon spawns. If I look at the summoners right now, you do have flash available for Markoon, so he can go for an engage, but you're not got a stopwatch in him, and on the other side there, you're basically full summoners across the board, only Mikyx missing his flash.
Look at Finn, though. This is such a good flank opportunity, and will be spotted just as he comes in, but that's going to put some manners on Rogue.
Watch the flash crescendo. That's the big thing here. Trymbi playing bodyguard. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. He will be looking for Finn. They know it's a potential movement here. They have the package, and XL are the ones looking to try and make this one work. They don't want Rogue in. Solar Flare, and that's a defensive package. Now you do not have that big teamfight ultimate. Speaking of teamfight ultimates, here they all go. So many movements coming in. They jump straight onto Finn because you just cannot do anything else. The flash kick from Markoon just keeps himself alive, and now Patrik's trying to just do what he can, but a flash from the Big Bear does get right on top of his face as the brothers in the Freljord do their damnedest to keep everyone from XL down. Rogue just kept everyone at arm's length, and they just collapsed perfectly.
And I love the idea as
hello.
Markoon, hello, goodbye. XL, I actually really like the idea here. I think it was a really well executed fight. The problem is you're about 10 minutes too early. You don't have the items to take this fight. Now the Dragon goes across the Rogue, and because we're at the 20-minute mark, that's a Baron for Rogue as well.
They didn't get the Dragon just yet. They are going to go for the Baron straight away. They lost absolutely nobody. It is a 20-minute Baron here for Rogue. Mikyx is here. They have got TP available for Finn if they want to try and go for something, but it would be a suicide mission. As I say that, they're going with the Super Mega Death Rocket, and they don't get it.
That was beautiful. I don't know where that came from, but
You know what else is
digging the
beautiful?
singing.
This ult from Odoamne, this zones out absolutely everybody.
And I think for XL, right, you can see the idea. Finn flanks, causes a bunch of ruckus in the backline, and buys time for Patrik. But as you said, right, great Ornn ult coming across, keeps Patrik occupied for the whole time, and there's no way that anyone can really follow up as Rogue dispatch Finn and just remove any chance XL have of taking this fight.
Odoamne, the weak side king, just saying, nah, I am the carry in this game. But objective bounties, as we go into a Red Bull Baron power play for the side of Rogue, it will be picked up, but Larssen's still pushing. Larssen's still getting massively ahead. Look at the goal. I blinked, and it went from 3K to 8 in favor of Rogue.
It's just absolutely insane. And look at their position on the map now, right? You're about to get another tower down. Bot tier 2 gone. Top tier 2 gone. Finn trying to answer, but there's a Baron up Rogue that are sitting in front of your base, and they're looking fairly angry.
They're looking pretty damn angry that they're going straight away. They're going to jump up to Mikyx, who has got flash if he should use it to get away, but no, they're going to fully invest in on top of this. The crescendo hits one and doesn't really do a lot more. Patrik is dead. Larssen is too damn big. And at 22 minutes, we could be looking at the fastest game of the split so far.
That'd be absolutely insane. Comp getting people back in Rogue. Just like that, they've blown it open.
They can disable the towers as well. We forgot about that because nothing happened in the early game, and now Markoon is trying his hardest to keep this alive, but it's 2v5. There's not really a lot left for you can do. He almost gets on top of Comp, but a double kill goes over to the Rogue AD carry, and in 22 minutes and probably just over 30 seconds, 8-0 Rogue remain undefeated.
Mickey stays up. Wait it.
No, he's gone.
No. Okay, Patrik. Unfortunately, not enough. They will fall. The Nexus goes. Top Esports shine, and Rogue stay undefeated.
Another day at the office, really. Rogue, I don't know how else to put it. They just look incredible. I mean, genuinely incredible. This is a team that have come in with such an incredibly good understanding of what they can do, how they can do it, and that game, they didn't get to do what they wanted in the early game. The catching unaware, the surprise factor from Malrang, he was equal on CS, as you mentioned, up in the first few minutes of the game. It didn't matter, because as soon as an opportunity arose, they said, cool, thank you very much, off we go.
And again, it kind of shows more and more evolution of Rogue. They look good. Fastest game in LEC 2022. What do you say?
Well, what do you say is we're going to have the key player of the game at LEC on Twitter, so make sure you get your votes in. Larssen, Comp, and Trymbi. Honestly, it could go to anybody whatsoever. It was just so good from them. And again, this is where you love to see, as an EU fan, that you've got a team that have got carries across the board.
Yeah, I mean, they're absolute monsters, right? And you can play at any point on the map. You can play side lanes. And again, it's this evolution that we see, hey, we've got side lane split push, we've got team fights, we've got a slow early game. They still come out looking good.
They do, and that, well, slow early game, but the fastest game of LEC Spring 2022. And after the break, we will hear from Rogue's Odoamne on how their undefeated season has gone so far. I think pretty good.
Systems are overloading. We can't risk another game.
We need to take a break and regroup.
We're starting to lose our mind. Captain, we cannot go back to Elo Hell. Last time it took us months to get out of it.
Initiate break protocol.
Hurry up!
Yes! Yes! I did it! We did it! We did it!
Even the biggest champ needs a break.